Well, hey guys, it's Brett Dahlman with the Bleeding Sun again. We're gonna do another mix breakdown of our second release titled Karma. Really appreciated everyone that checked out our first single, Suffocated. I think it went over well. We're just getting rolling with this thing, so that was kind of just the little tip, the tip, just the littlest of tips. Now we're gonna go into the next song. This one's titled Karma. Definitely a different sound than Suffocated. There's still the elements of Bleeding Sun. You know, the guitar tones, the drum tones are all the same. There's some more layering going on. I felt like with Karma, we started to get a little more creative with some of the vocals. We got a lot more harmonies on this, some screaming here and there, and just gets kind of up and down. A lot of peaks and valleys, you know. And I think it turned out great. It's definitely different. The chorus is just such a strong point on this song. It just kind of opens up and just sounds massive, and I love that. Same situation, same way we recorded it. Running a Kemper down here, I just go right into the board. We had the drum set. We did have it set up back here, but we had it set up back in the back. We did D-drum triggers for the drums, sampled the GGD metal drum set, modified a little bit, and then we had natural overhead, 2 mics overhead for the cymbals, and that's how we captured the drums we got. So it's kind of a hybrid. We do have some drum samples to get the beef, you know, because I can't get a whole lot of beef out of this garage. It's just not that beefy. So but the overheads came out, you know, pretty good. I think it's a good sound for the drums. Really, it's not anything too crazy. We're not doing anything too technical, but yeah, Kemper straight into the board. Gabriel at his place. I don't even remember what he has. He's using an Archon PRS. Sometimes he goes right in, like mics the cab up and everything, and he doesn't have a Kemper. I don't know. Help me out here. He's got something else. But same deal. He's running Archon. I'm doing Archon profiles as well. PRS Archon amp profile. This song came about. This is one of mine that I wrote last year. Just the idea of it. I'd gotten the Kemper, and it has a pitch shifter effect for your guitar tone on here that you can apply to whatever, you know, modeling amp you want to. And I'd never really messed around with one of those before, and this is kind of the first thing that popped out when I was playing with it. It's the main riffs got a pitch shifted guitar left and right, so they're in stereo, and it's just kind of a weird riff. I'm doing some weird, some tapping, not Van Halen style, just a little tappy tap, you know. Yeah, I think it sounds cool. But we're gonna start on let's just start on the guitars this time. So right out the gate, we're going to go, and I'm just going to play the first little parts to kind of let you hear the main riff as a whole. I think I got everything unmuted. And then we'll peel it back a little bit. So here's the intro to the song, Karma. Like I was saying, it's definitely a different kind of riff. I hadn't really done anything like that before. You know, heavy palm mutes, and then that pitch shifter on there with the main part. I did do a little bit of programming, I guess. I don't know. Put a little effect on the intro, and I titled it Techno Boogie is what I titled it down here. So you can kind of hear that coming into effect. It's a slow fade in to the music, but it actually is playing the whole time during that main intro riff. It's buried in there, but it's just a little bit of layer of texture to add to that. Yeah, kind of cool, isn't it? But that's hiding behind that main riff there. And when I was writing this, I liked the riff. It was kind of, very much kind of a staccato or broken type of riff where it's like heavy palm mutes and then it kind of stops in the pitch shifter thing. But I wanted something else going in the background to kind of give it a little bit more movement. I didn't want it to be prominent. I didn't want it to be like the lead to that moment. I want that main riff to be the lead to it. But I felt like putting something kind of behind it to kind of give it a little bit of ear candy almost, bouncing around behind everything would kind of be cool. I think it turned out pretty neat. So that's behind that main riff, and I do it later on in the second verse too. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's go back to the guitars here. So the guitars, all these tracks up top are all guitars. The first set we're going to listen to is that pitch shifter from the Kemper, and you can hear what that weird riff sounds like on its own. So, like I said, kind of funky, but cool. And then what we did with that on that main riff is we just beefed it up. So those palm muted parts, we just added more tracks, more rhythm tracks to it. I'll add the bass guitar in here too, so you can kind of hear all of it together. Just makes it nice and chunky, nice and chunky. So that is the intro riff, kind of the main riff to the song. Now we're going to jump into the first verse. And let's see. It drops, it goes from that heavy riff and drums, and it drops down into this clean guitar part that kind of carries those verses all the way through to a pre-chorus. About halfway through those verses, another guitar part comes in. It's kind of a heavier guitar part, palm muted. It's kind of got a Tool type vibe to it. But let's just check out those guitar parts on the verses real quick and see what you guys think of them. And Gabriel's part will be on here too. He's got a little lead part he throws in here. But here is the first verse, just guitars. Kind of creepy sounding a little bit. It's a really cool vibe, kind of dark and just weird sounding, but definitely that heavier palm muted guitar part is not a complicated riff at all. It's super easy, but it's kind of got a Tool vibe to it a little bit, and I think they all blend together quite nicely, and it's gonna it complements everything very well. Let's check out the bass guitar on that verse real quick. You can kind of hear. I'll leave the clean guitar part on as kind of a guide to where we're at. So here's the bass guitar. Kind of cool there. Cool. I love that bass tone that we got on that. And the way we got that was we just went straight into the DAW with my cheap $200 bass and used STL tone hub, just an Ampeg profile with a little bit of distortion on there, and gives it a nice gritty sound. It fills it out nice. It's got a good low end presence there that I think makes the bottom end really shine on these songs. That the bass guitar, when that heavier riff comes in, it's doing basically the same kind of riff, that da 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 da. Only difference is I'm doing an octave, like a slide up on that third note, and then just going back down to open, because that's just an open chord riff is what that is. It's just little things like that, I think, that gives it some movement. But let's listen to that verse now with the vocals, and just kind of check out how it sounds all together. We're going to do the drums and everything, so we'll just do the whole part here. So here we go.
Don't shine on the soul of mine, so I bide my time until I'm home. The light that blinds covers the stars of time, and the shadows hide and say I'm fine.
So yeah, that's the first verse vocals. That's everything together. Really kind of a cool sounding verse. I really dig how it turned out. The vocals, like, I kind of, the way I produced them, I wanted them to kind of have almost like an auto-tuned tone purposefully, because I think I kind of like how that fit within the sounds of the guitars and everything like that, to kind of have those notes draw out and then shift down and up. Not sounding too unnatural, but it just sounds like a little bit, it doesn't sound like what someone would normally do there, but I think that is what makes it different. So, you use the tools that you have to your advantage, and I'm all for using technology as much as possible, to help us with our sound and express what we want to do. So I just love what it turned into. Now we're going to roll into, we got a little pre-chorus on this song, and this was, for the longest time, as we had this as a demo for months, this was just just the band playing, just a simple riff, and then it led into the chorus. And I was talking to Ken and Gabriel about this, and I know Ken was like, "Man, it feels like we should put something there." And it doesn't need to be much, but it just needs to have a little bit more going on that pre-chorus. So I'll show you what it sounded like before we added the stuff. Make sure I mute the right things here. So this is what it sounded like. It was just kind of straightforward. Back up a little bit. So, like I was saying, it's just kind of a lead in to the chorus. There really wasn't anything going on. And then I came up with this little lead lick on here, and I'll play just the lead lick for you. And then Ken added a vocal too, so we'll do both of those here separately. So those are doing the same. They're doing the same notes, same kind of lick, but one of them's more of a dun, 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 and the other one's just playing the notes and letting them ring out. So you can kind of hear the difference on those. Then the other one. And then they kind of fade out when the chorus kicks in. So that is the lead lick we came up with for the pre-chorus. And then Ken's vocals here is kind of what I feel like it's what connected the verses to the chorus. It just kind of pulls it all together. And it's nothing crazy. It's just nice and simple.
And how it goes round.
So let's hear all that together. That pre-chorus, it just makes that whole thing just connect, I think. So it opens up to that big old chorus that I was talking about. I just love how this. I'm a sucker for these kind of choruses where it's just like everything opens up and it's just these big harmonies and vocals and big power chords and nothing crazy, super technical at all. But it just sounds cool and it makes you want to sing along to it. So, so this is the chorus on this. Let's start with. Let's do some of the guitar parts here. And I think these are just the rhythm guitar parts. Let's check it out here. Nothing crazy there, but it's just a big old power chord. Gabriel added his part to it. Gabriel likes to play with tunings. That's all I'm going to say. He just goes crazy with the guitars and all sorts of different tunages on there. And he'll find some funky chords that go with what I'm doing. And he knows all the notes and what they are. And I'm just like, I don't know. It sounds good. Let's just put it on there. So this is what he did. Really cool. Bass guitar is basically following along with what the guitars are doing. Let's listen to that chorus as a whole, because I just think it's banging. You know, it's just pretty sweet. Let's check it out. Awesome chorus. Quite a bit going on there vocally. We got stacked harmonies. We got some background vocals. We got some screaming going on. All the good stuff, okay? I don't care what you say. That's just good quality fun right there. So Ken stepped up to the plate and did some singing, some yodeling on this song for us. And Ken's got a killer voice. And it's awesome that all of us are going to be singing on these songs. Yeah, Gabriel too. Not on this one, but it's coming. I guarantee you. And we're learning how to sing with each other, and what harmonies work well, and it's just it's so fun to watch every one of us grow musically, and write write these melodies and harmonies together. And Ken did a killer job doing all the background vocals on this song. I mean, he did the harmonies. So if you want to listen to a really cool, Bleeding Sun a cappella, here's the chorus vocals. Let's see if I can get it going here.
All the ways that you're killing me, come will come around. Just you wait and see, and kick you to the ground.
Isn't that just cool? Man, that's awesome. I freaking love it. Let's just listen to Ken's stuff. So he's got a high and a low harmony. So let's check it out here.
All the ways
He's getting up there.
killing me.
And his low one.
All the ways killing
His sound so weird by themselves. And then his famous yell here. Ooh, let's go back. That's so awesome. You put all those together, and it just makes this huge harmony, this huge wall of sound for the chorus. I just think it's fantastic. Let's go over to the mix page real quick here and check out. So we're using auto-tune again. You can't deal with it. Sorry, it's just what we do. If you don't like it, I don't care. So we run an Auto-Tune Pro for the vocals, on most vocals. The screens we don't, because it won't tune those. We don't need them tuned anyways. Howard Benson vocal plugin. This is my main vocal plugin for processing vocals. Without this, it's a lot more work. This makes it way easier once you know what you're doing in here. But I kind of got a preset that I built that I start with and then tweak from there. So you can kind of see this is on his yelling part where he's yelling out "Killing me," you know, that thing. So you can kind of see some of the EQ settings on here. Not a whole lot. We got a lot of this stuff shut off. Echo's on, and it's pretty high echo rate there. But that just kind of makes it sit in the mix better and kind of project out. If you don't have any kind of delay or reverb on your vocals, they just don't sit right in a mix. So always use some kind of delay and some kind of reverb. A slap delay or slap echo, whatever you want to call it, works really well. It's like a ping pong type echo or delay. It makes them vocals kind of bounce around in the mix. You don't really hear it too much, but it's there. We also utilize this Duo. It's a vocal modeling. It's an automatic doubler. I don't like to use it all the time, but I do tend to use this quite a bit on backing vocals or even screaming, because it just adds a little bit more dimension to the vocal. And say you got your main vocal that's coming up front and center, you know, it's always right up the gut, you know, right up the middle is your main vocal. If you got like, you know, accent scream or harmony or anything like that, you can have those, you know, doubled stereo left and right, and it kind of makes the vocals kind of flare out, I think. If you're trying to picture it, that's kind of what I'm thinking. The main vocals is right up the middle, and then your harmonies or screams or whatever are on the side of it. Don't always have to do it that way. I mean, there's times where, you know, you want something up the middle too, but again, this is the way I do it. It's basically just been me fooling around with this stuff until I like what I heard, and I think it's cool. It seems to work for what we want to do. And we also have the old Valhalla Vintage Reverb, which is just an amazing reverb. So if you're ever gonna, you know, do vocal tracking, get the Benson plug-in, use the echo or the delay feature on that, or you can get the Chris Lord-Alge vocal plug-in. It's got a delay as well, and then also use the vintage reverb. You can't use too much of it, because it's just, you know, everything just disappears out into space basically if you go too strong. You can see on the Valhalla that, you know, I got about 15% of the reverb channel into the mix, and a 4-second decay on that. So if you don't want it to decay as long, you can dial it back. There's certain times where I'll use like 1 second or 2, or just whatever feels right for what you want in a mix is what I'm trying to say. There's no correct way of doing it. It's just, you know, figure out how to get it where you want it sonically, whatever that may be. So this is just how I use them. And then, yeah, so pretty straightforward. Main chorus vocals.
All the ways that you're killing me.
So you can hear hear those there. On the main chorus, again, auto tune. We use the Howard Benson plug-in. I'm also using a Harmony engine on that. I'm not using it to harmonize technically. I'm just using it almost as a doubler. So if you can see where the mouse is at here, this is the input. So this is the incoming audio from what you recorded. This is your raw vocal coming in here. So I have that up to plus 7 dBs. So it's leading the way, and it is right in the center. Like I was telling you, you want to keep those main vocal tracks straight up the middle. And then I wanted to basically make my vocal sound wider. I wanted to widen it out and almost give it a feel of doubling. And, you know, you could double these vocals and pan them left and right. But, again, I'm lazy. So if this will do it for me, I don't like using it as a harmony machine. I like to, you know, actually harmonize and have someone else sing the part to what I'm doing. But to thicken a vocal, especially a main vocal, this works pretty well. So you can see this here, these two, actually just this one, my bad. I think I muted that one there. These two are the double essentially. So it's the same, you know, we're not changing pitch at all. So it is the same pitch. And these are turned down, you know, -5, should be about the same, -5. And then panned a little bit left and a little bit right. I didn't go all the way over with these. And it just adds a little thickness to it. Take a listen here.
All the ways that you're killing me.
So I'll bypass this so you can hear the difference.
All the ways that you're killing me. Come will come around.
So you can hear it. It's very subtle, but it just adds a little bit more depth to that vocal and kind of broadens it a little bit. It gives it a little, I don't know, gives it a little more shine, I guess is what you could call it. But I use that quite often on the main vocal, especially on the chorus or something like that. Not all the time, but a lot of times I'll use that harmony engine. I did use it over here on Ken's little pre-chorus part. Similar situation, a little different settings on there, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. Use the tools that you can get a hold of, and that you can afford. Don't be afraid to jump in and just start playing with stuff and figuring it out, because that's basically how I've figured it out. So, okay, we're going to drop into the second verse now. So we come out of the main riff, did some screaming on there. I better show the screams. So that's intense. Scary. So I did the Benson on that, added a little bit of distortion to that vocal track, and I'm just using the reverb. I disabled the duo on that one. So just a nasty sounding vocal. And then the "You'll Reap What You Sow" answer back here.
You'll reap what you sow.
Creepy sounding. All right, let's drop into the second verse now. Basically the same as the first verse. The only difference is on this quieter part with the clean guitar, I added some techno drums. I don't know. You can check them out. They're kind of cool.
Don't shine to your empty smile. So I break these ties.
Okay, so you hear that? That is the drum samples, same drum samples that Ken's using on the main drum tracks. I just, mess with them basically. So there's two different ones. I doubled it. One, let's see what this one is. So this is the kick drum. So I didn't want the kick drum to completely disappear, because when you thin this out and add a ton of reverb, a lot of times your low end's pretty much gone. So this track is just, it kind of boosts that kick drum back up so you can actually hear it still. Then the other one should be the high end snare crack and the big reverb room, just kind of, space, a lot of space, so. Put them together. And of course, on this one we have the techno boogie going. I don't know why I called it that, but whatever. So you can hear that. Isn't that weird? Let's hear it all together now.
Oh, don't shine to your empty smile. So I break these ties, and then I'm done. My dark and light slips to the lonely inside. So empty.
Those drums sound good. Again, what we were doing there is the overheads, right and left, overhead microphones. Cut out all the low end on those overhead mics, and then we used a GGD metal drum kit with some EQ and compression on there too, kind of make it pop a little bit. So that second chorus leads into the bridge, which the bridge turned into my favorite part of the song. Again, after working it, I mean that's the cool thing about being able to do this at home and working and developing these songs is we had this basic idea for quite a while. The verse vocals, the chorus vocals. We had the guitar, most of the guitar parts. But it was the little things that we added later on and tweaked and adjusted that really made this song start to really grow into something more than just a cool song. I think it's a really good song. So with this bridge, it kind of drops off into this kind of single palm-muted guitar part, and we didn't have anything going on with that vocally at first. It was just the guitars, and it was the build up into the guitar solo, which the guitar solo was ridiculous. Okay, that Gabriel guy, he's something else. Guy's got wizard phalanges. That's all I'm saying. But so I decided to do a little kind of a whisper talky type vocal. I don't even remember what I said. I probably need to learn that. But let's just check out that first part of the bridge going into the solo. So just cool, man. It builds up right into that guitar solo. Let's just check out what I'm saying here. See if you guys can, understand what I'm speaking with my mouth. And maybe if you can decipher it, bloop it down in the comments for me. So here we go.
You take what you want, you tether the lies to everything, you poison the well that leaves the damn suffering. You take what you want, you tether the lies to everything, you poison the well, so why can't you just stop it?
That's creepy. I don't know, that's just creepy sounding, but it's cool. So again, that's the build up, something we added really late in the mix, and it just set the song off. I thought it's just kind of a tension right up into that big huge solo. So let's listen to the bridge in whole, and we'll try not to melt too many faces with this solo that's coming at you here. So here we go.
To tether the lines to everything you poison the well, so I guess you're just stubborn.
Man, that is killer. I friggin' love that. Let's check out the rhythm guitar parts first. And then we'll go to the guitar solo and I'll isolate the solo. You can hear them phalanges fly. But man, this is just such a cool part. I really enjoy writing these rhythm licks underneath Gabriel's solos, or vice versa. I usually write the lick first, then he comes in and writes the solo. But man, it's just this is a fun riff to play. And one thing you'll notice on the back half, when he's doing the solo, the guitar parts are going right along with the percussive with the drums. So it's percussively, it's following that drum, those drum breaks and and some of the tom work and stuff there. You'll hear that at the end of the bridge. When we get closer to that, I'll turn the drums on and you can hear that too. But here's the rhythm guitar part. Isn't that cool? It's the little things making that rhythm section tight and in control and flowing with each other that just makes the solo pop more is what it does. It just, everything is rolling right there, man, and we are just having a good old time. Let's check this solo out, by itself. Let's just rip on it here. All right, here we go. Man, that is just so awesome. Incredible guitar solo by Gabriel. And then it rolls into the third and final chorus. Nothing really changes there. We'll go ahead and play through that and play the outro, which is just the Karma screams and the Reap What You Sow, and then it ends on a Karma scream, actually, and it echoes out. It's a really cool ending. So let's play that last chorus to the outro. This is so awesome. real quick before we end this, I want to isolate that outgoing, that outro Karma. So it took a little work to get that to sit right in the mix. I just want you guys to hear that on its own. It kind of it fades in and then fades out with that. So what I did there on that first part of that as it fades in is I actually took the audio of Karma and flipped it around. You can do that on Pro Tools. You can actually reverse audio that and lay it in there. So it kind of makes it sound really kind of foreign almost. It just doesn't sound natural. But it gives it a swell because you're basically reverse swelling up into that word, up into that Karma word, and then you're going back out. And then adding that delay or echo there just kind of makes it pop even more. So I just think it's a really cool way to end the song, and really happy with how this one turned out. This one was quite a bit of work, just working it and hashing it out and coming back to it, and that's just part of it, and it's part of it that I really enjoy is building these songs. It's basically like painting. You're trying to paint not visually like a painter does, but you're trying to paint, with audio. You're trying to get all the right things covered and everything just right, so the picture looks, looks good. And I think we did that again with Karma. So, anyways, I think that's about it. One thing I might show you here towards the end is we do master all these as well, and I use Ozone 9 mastering software, and it's a great. I'm not gonna get into too much details, but we use this on all the songs, and you can use a reference track, so you can load up a reference track like an album or a song that you like from an album, and it'll listen to that audio and try to replicate the mastering side of that on your own. And I've been using a song off of Seven Dust Animosity because I just love the sound of that album sonically, even though it's 21 years old now. It still sounds so good, and it has a good punch to it. So I use that as a reference. I'm not saying we're going to sound like Animosity at all, but it uses basically listens to that and tries to adjust the EQ to get the levels similar to how that one is. Obviously, our tones are different, everything like that, but it gets it close to what the mastering EQ did for them on that record. So, anyways, I love this software. If you can get this, I would highly recommend it. You got to kind of work with it a little bit, get it tweaked out to how you want it, but once you figure it out, it's a great mastering software, and it really gets the levels up where they need to be to punch correctly and everything fit nicely. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I have for the song Karma, the mix breakdown. I appreciate you guys again watching a big, long, crazy video of this weirdo talking. Yep, and be sure to keep an eye out, keep an ear out for all of our new releases coming out, and make sure you're jamming this stuff, man. We need to see some plays, okay? Stuff's too good to just sit there. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. I don't care. She'll like it, or she won't. Whatever. Anyways, we'll see you guys. Take care.